Hello again. So I'm back with another tale from my childhood. Last time I dealt with a pretty dark period in my life, dealing with the effects of bullying and kind of becoming psychologically damaged from that whole time period. And I became severely introverted, withdrawn, shy, quiet, and everything. I was fearful, always looking over my shoulder. Everything sort of had an ominous sort of feel to it, and social situations were pretty much just for me, were a way for people to size me up and me to size them up as threats. So it was a real sort of immature and ineffective social intelligence that I had acquired at that point. So during the middle of 7th grade year, my parents came up and said, we're moving again. It wasn't that far away this time, so it wasn't quite as tough of a move, although I didn't know at that point how to go into a new school and make friends, and the only thing I could think of was trying to find out, who's the toughest kid, where's the hierarchy, where am I within that hierarchy, and who to avoid, those kinds of things. So, I came off probably looking very paranoid at first, but it wasn't long till I found my first, what became a really close friend for many years afterwards. And he was this tall, strong, athletic kid who, he was great at sports, but he wasn't not so good with the ladies. He was very shy in that regard. So, but I saw that he used humor to cover up for that. And so that was my first big lesson in how to acquire, a new layer of character armor to sort of patch over the damage that I had done, was using, humor. The bad thing was that he was very loud and boisterous. He was the class clown, got in a lot of trouble that way. And because he was kind of my first friend after all this, I latched on to him greatly and tightly. In a way that, I felt safe around him, and I felt like I was paid attention to by him. So this idea of comedy, laughter, humor, sort of patching over my shyness became a very big deal. And it had its good and bad, things. I'm sure I kind of overcompensated with it, I'm sure, and drove away as many people as I attracted with it. So, but for the first time in a while, I was having fun, and that's all I cared about at the moment. Even girls who I was, extremely interested in took a back seat to this because I was just glad to have friends. And so, his friends became my friends, and, I kind of got into that whole crowd. And, life started to be fun again. Another thing that happened during this time is that for some weird reason, I discovered that I was extremely fast. I was a very fast runner. So that got me pretty far in the sports world within the school. This school was a small town in Kansas, so it had it's an incredible following for basketball, and that was kind of the thing that you were in the in crowd if you liked to play basketball. So, being that I was kind of in with the sports crowd, and that everyone saw that I kind of had this, I was the fastest kid in school, it kind of gave me this bigger into the in groups. And so track kind of became my thing. I became sort of a track star in a sense. And some of the best memories of childhood come from that time, because not only was I having incredible success with girls at that time, is that I dated, I believe, most of all the cheerleaders in that school at one time or another. And I remember certain track meets where I was the sort of the last leg in the relay race, or I did the 100, 200-yard dashes, and we always won. And just that feeling of adulation and just achievement was just incredible. Little did I know that later on, the summer between my 8th grade year and high school was sort of the period where everybody really had their growth spurts. And I realized that I was not going to grow any taller than I had already been. But at this point in 7th and 8th grade, everyone's still around kind of the same average height. So it didn't make such a difference at that point. So I believe it was during this time I had my first real kiss with a girl. And I'm going to refrain from naming names of any of these people that I'm discussing. But this girl was very special. I think she was, in a way, she was my first love. And even to this day, there are times I still think about her. So there were a lot of really great things that happened during this period. 7th and 8th grade were sort of prize years for me. And that was kind of it was going in reverse of the Dickens novel. It was the worst of times, and then it was the best of times. But as all things fluctuate and all things appear cyclical, what I'll discuss next time is what happened after the summer before my freshman year in high school, where I enter yet sort of another dark period in my life. But we'll get to that next time. Thanks for listening. Bye.